I'm so glad you're here today. Today, I want to share a mindset shift with you that has beautifully transformed my life. And maybe if you've found yourself struggling to start or to stick to something, it'll resonate with you too. Let's talk about the idea of going from all or nothing to simply 1% every day. It sounds simple, right? But for me, this was a lesson I resisted for a very long time. I used to be caught in this cycle of perfectionism. I'd set these lofty goals and then, well, the follow through wasn't always there. And maybe you know what I mean. Let me give you an example. I remember I wanted to get into a regular exercise routine. I'd map out these intense 5 day a week plans. I'd buy new workout clothes. I'd get the fancy water bottle, all the gear. I would buy a gym membership and I'd start strong. But the second life threw me a curveball, like an unexpected meeting or waking up feeling tired or my cycle showed up, the whole plan would crumble. And of course, I'd end up doing nothing. All or nothing really translated to nothing most of the time. And the kicker is that it wasn't that I didn't want to move my body. It's that I thought that if I couldn't do the perfect workout or I couldn't stay perfectly consistent, then there was no point in doing anything at all. And it wasn't just exercise either. I can't tell you how many journals I have with the first few pages filled out with beautiful, thoughtful reflections and then nothing. And I'd buy a new one each time because I needed a fresh journal for a fresh start. Half-empty day timers that were supposed to keep my life in perfect order, and I'd write in them for a week or two, maybe a month. But then if I missed a week, I'd feel like I'd failed. And why even bother trying if I couldn't be consistent? The reality is that I was putting too much pressure on myself to get it right and to do it all perfectly from day one. And often I was trying to create these shifts and create shifts in multiple areas of my life. And I was trying to do too much all at once. And I never gave myself a chance to grow slowly and gently. So introducing the 1% better everyday mindset. This is where the mindset shift comes in. So instead of striving for all or even most, what if we just focused on 1% better every day? Just a tiny incremental improvement. It's the idea that we don't need to have it all figured out to see these massive changes overnight. Instead, we build the progress slowly and let those small changes add up over time. The best part of this is that science actually backs this up. The idea of compounding small gains has been proven in multiple areas, from financial savings to personal development. James Clear talks about this in his book, Atomic Habits. He says if you get 1% better every day for a year, you'll end up 37 times better by the end of the year. But if you get 1% worse each day, you'll diminish to nearly nothing. The power of compounding isn't just about money, it's about habits too. In fact, researchers at the University of London found that it takes, on average, 66 days to form a new habit. And this research varies, according to where you find it. But here's the important part. It doesn't matter if you're perfect every day. It matters that you keep showing up, even if it's just for a tiny action. So imagine that you want to start exercising. Instead of deciding that you need to do an hour-long workout 5 times a week, what if you just started with 5 minutes? 5 minutes a day. It sounds almost laughably small, but that's the point. It's so small that it's almost impossible to fail. And those 5 minutes start to build momentum as you actually achieve the 5 minutes day after day. And suddenly 5 minutes becomes 10, and 10 becomes 20. And before you know it, you're working out regularly without even thinking about it. A guy on the radio was talking about this concept, and he was actually challenged just to put on his sneakers and drive to the gym. Drive to the gym. That was his only task. And the gym was like maybe 5 minutes away. And then once he was at the gym, he got to make the decision. Was he going to go in or was he going to go home? And most often, if he was already at the gym, he's like, well, I'm here. I better just go in and do the thing, right? And now let me tell you about a woman I know. We're going to call her Diane. And she wanted to run a marathon, and she wasn't a runner like at all. So the idea of running 26.2 miles, of course, seemed impossible. So instead of signing up for an intense training program right away, she started small. So the first day, she put on her running shoes and ran to the end of her driveway, and that was it, just the driveway. The next day, she ran a little further, and by the end of the month, she was running a mile. And that slow build, that 1% every day, eventually got her across that marathon finish line. And it wasn't about doing it perfectly or even getting there quickly. It was about showing up just a little bit every day. So here are a few practical tips that you can use to apply this 1% mindset to your own life. Start small. And I hope this was obvious, but whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's exercising, writing, meditating, start with a version that is so small, it's almost silly, like one push-up or one line in your journal. You want to make this so ridiculously achievable that you couldn't even fathom to create an excuse to not do it. 2, focus on consistency, not intensity. So it's not about how much you do in a day, it's about how often you do it. Consistency is what creates habits, not intensity. Number 3, celebrate your wins. Each time you do your 1%, take a moment and celebrate it. Give yourself an internal high five, pat on the back. Let yourself feel proud. Those small wins create motivation and momentum. And number 4, be gentle with yourself. If you miss a day or a week or even a month, don't beat yourself up about it. Just come back to it. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about continuing to move forward. Now, I can honestly say that this shift from all or nothing to 1% every day has made me much kinder to myself. My exercise routine, I didn't start with hour-long workouts. It started with 10 minutes on the treadmill. My journals, they're not filled in every single day, but I'm okay with that. And I've actually finished a few of them now. Sometimes I'll sit down with it and I will hold it in my hands and nothing comes out. And so I just close it and put it down. And other days I've got pages of thoughts to share. And this change, this gentle, incremental progress has made so much of a difference for me. I'm learning that I don't have to have everything figured out all at once, and I don't need to be perfect. I just need to keep going. And so do you. So today, I want to invite you to look at one area of your life where you could apply this 1% rule. What is one small action that you can take today, possibly even right now, that could get you just a tiny bit closer to where you want to be? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video and you would like more of these gold nuggets, please like and subscribe. Have a beautiful day, friends. Looking forward to growing with you.